Call the Tuesday, August 25th meeting of the Municipal Airport Authority to order. And on the, first, can all of you hear me? Give me a, okay, if you're on video, I can see your thumbs up.
Okay, you can probably stay on mute until
Okay.
you need to.
Approve, you received the minutes of the July 28th meeting. Were there any corrections or additions? Hearing none, the minutes stand approved as printed. Approve the airport vouchers totaling $90,819.76.
Motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the airport vouchers, $90,819.76. Roll call vote.
Haugen?
Aye.
Engen?
Aye.
Cosgrove?
Aye.
Lind?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye. Number 3, approve the individual vouchers as follows. A through G. First, does anybody have any questions about those? Is there anything out of the ordinary, Sean?
No.
Okay.
Everything's in order.
Okay.
And so moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the individual vouchers, A through G. Roll call vote.
Haugen?
Aye.
Engen?
Aye.
Cosgrove?
Aye.
Lind?
Aye.
Lynn?
Aye. All right, number 4, receive communication from the FAA to lease office space in the East Side Terminal Building.
Rick Flaxbarth is here as well. So this has been a long process with the FAA Tech Ops folks. So Chris Menz, who had managed the Fargo Tech Ops office for a number of years, was promoted to kind of a regional thing. Chris, I don't know if you're on the call today, but finally the FAA real estate folks reached out to us, and they are interested in leasing a 192 square foot office on the second floor that's currently occupied by Altig, A-L-T-I-G. We'll notify Altig that their lease won't be renewed, and the FAA will move into that office on January 1st. What they will do is send out an addendum to the current lease agreement for the space that they're leasing on the second floor of the East Terminal Building, and just add this space in there. The 5-year average rental rate is $7.82 a square foot over the 5-year term, and they do have some escalators in there if they choose to exercise their options. So there'll be a standard form government lease amendment that will be coming forth to us sometime between now and January 1st. So Rick, I don't know if you have anything to add or if there's anything there.
No, just email chain that have included you and I on that from the FAA.
Yeah, so there's a new real estate contact, Teresa McDaniel. I dealt with somebody else for a number of years, and she evidently retired, Demetra Johnson. So at any rate, watch for that to come. We'll have Stacy review it when it shows up, and like I say, it's a standard government lease, and there isn't really much that we can change on those. So if you want to approve leasing that to them and notifying Altig, well, you can do that by voice vote.
Okay. Is there a motion on the floor? Somebody like to move that, what Sean said? Approve the lease? Okay.
Second.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. And that we take we do everything Sean said to make sure that inform Altig as well as have all legal aspects for the office lease. So all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carried. Number 5, ND PERS update.
Stacy's on.
Stacy?
I am, and I'm happy to report after a lot of legwork, we have a joint meeting via Zoom or however we'll do it with Mary Jo Anderson and then one of the assistant attorney generals. So it would be Sean, perhaps Joan, perhaps Chief Bush, myself, I think I said Eric, and then Jill Manette. So that's scheduled for Tuesday, September 1st at 2 p.m. We worked to get it done this last week, but we had scheduling conflicts, so I jumped on the first available date where everyone came back and gave the thumbs up for being available.
Okay, and can somebody record it and then make sure we do a follow-up? If they do not want to do the follow-up in writing, will we make sure that we do a follow-up in writing to confirm the information so there's no questions in the future?
Correct, and I would certainly work, I see Eric's on the call, we could certainly work to do that jointly. because through this process, Eric and I heard the same things at the same time, which have been subsequently changed. So we'll certainly, I mean, we can look at the idea of recording it. I think we just have to have their okay, and then certainly put a letter.
Great. Any questions about that, about the NDPERS?
Is that September 1st of 2020? I'm just wondering how long. We need to kind of make sure we know what year we're talking about.
Yep,
Okay.
I think that is true. Okay, number 6, Airport PEC ARF employee update. We had a PEC meeting and went through the whole process to evaluate. We had a whole spreadsheet to evaluate every employee, and we came prepared and went through step by step how the city would evaluate that employee and discussed every aspect. We made it through one employee with some consensus, and I think it was a very productive meeting. One of the things that came as a result of that is that two people, the two that probably were setting up, and actually I think there's a meeting with David Bush tomorrow. We have two people that will be meeting with him to get a better understanding about the ARF employees. And so that, and then after that, our PEC will meet again with probably, and I think it's Jane and Dawn who are meeting with Chief Bush tomorrow. Is that correct, Chief Bush?
That is correct.
Okay.
8 o'clock tomorrow.
Great. And thank you for your being available. One of the things that came about was there was not as deep an understanding to go through what the city process that our chairman, Jane Pettiger, wanted us to go through for every one of those employees. So we are doing that, and it was a very interesting, informational meeting. I think we accomplished what we needed to accomplish in that meeting. Anything else to add, John? Okay.
Madam Chair, no, I have nothing to add except I can tell people it's a learning curve for me, but I appreciate the process we're going through and the diligence everybody's putting into it. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Any comments or questions from the members here? Okay. Let me go back to my agenda. Received proposed proximity agreement with Ryan Companies US Inc.
Stacy or Eric, I guess you're on here. This is a standard proximity agreement the city of Fargo places on property adjacent to the airport, not only for the airport impact to the property, but also for the sewage lagoons or wastewater lagoons north of the airport. This is a tract of land that is north of County 20 or 40th Avenue North and just to the east of Old 81. It's a large tract of farmland. I think it's owned by the Holmquist family, if I'm not mistaken, and Ryan Companies, I think, is involved in the development of that property. So it's a standard proximity agreement. I don't know if Eric or Stacy, if you got anything to add.
No, other than I do think this went on, so this is not something that the airport authority signs off on. We do prepare just because of the impact potential on the airport. I get that to Donald Kress. I believe he put that on the city's agenda on Thursday for last night, so it may already be signed, but I just like for this board to see that these agreements are being executed between landowners and the city.
Okay, any questions?
Is this agreement for water drainage?
No, it's for noise, potential noise of the airport, and then also just the odors from the wastewater lagoons. It's been around for as long as I've been here, so anytime there's a change of zoning requested in certain areas around the airport, especially off the extended center lines of runways and so forth, have always moved forward with this type of prox agreement.
Okay, thank you. Number 8, discuss status of MOU with the city of Fargo. As you know, we extended the MOU for 6 months with a deadline of September 1st to renew, move forward, and I'd like to open it up to the members to see what you would like to do, if anything. If not, it'll automatically, if we don't do anything, it'll automatically renew for, I think, 3 years is, I should look at that again.
I believe so.
Yep, okay. All right. I'll open it up. Any discussion or?
Well, I personally would like to cancel it, but
Okay,
we just are continuing the bureaucratic marching of not getting anything done with the city and with HR, and NDPERS is just one example. And just the PEC, the firefighters are still, we've gone through the whole list of comparisons, and I don't know, it just, it's affecting people, and it's in our employees is what it's affecting. So
Okay.
that's just my view.
other thoughts? Eric, do you have anything? Lynn?
Can we discuss talking about the extending it like another 6 months or 12 months or something instead of the 3-year commitment?
Sure. What are your thoughts?
So if I could interject,
Yep.
it is a 3-year extension, but there's the ability to cancel at on the calendar year of it. So, and you would think I know it by heart, and you would think I would have it in front of me, but it's sitting at my office. What I recall is that there is, after a year expires now, you can move to cancel it, I guess, using that word. So it's not a straight up 3 years. And Eric, if you're on, connect me or correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's on. Oh, yes, he is there.
Stacy, you might be right. That's not the way I recall it, and I can get a copy fairly quickly. Just give me a minute to do that. But I think it is a 3-year thing, but again, you can be right. Hold on.
Yeah, it is.
This is Eric Lind again.
Yep.
I was just wondering, I mean, we worked long, hard hours on that, spent a lot of money on, mediation and so forth. It just would be a shame to cancel it altogether if we can't just work through our differences again and try and improve it from its current position. That's all I was going to say.
Okay. Yeah, it's on page 13.
1 year.
1 year. The agreement shall extend for an initial term of 1 year from and after the effective date. Now, the effective date date of agreement was January 2020. According to page 15. So I'm looking at page 13, and shall automatically renew for a single 3-year term, and shall automatically renew for successive 5-year terms thereafter. The agreement may be terminated by a party at the end of the initial 1-year term, whereupon written notice. Now this is where the key is, you guys. Whereupon written notice of the termination delivered to the other party on or before July 1st, which is we extended it to September 1st. As to the subsequent 3-year or any of the successive 5-year terms, the agreement may be terminated by a party at the end of any calendar year upon written notice of termination delivered to the other party on or before prior calendar year end. So that's just what the MOU says, and we've got discussion. Eric, as you know, we've been meeting with the city.
No, I agree. I agree, Stacy. I forgot about that last sentence, so you're absolutely right.
Good for 3, but we can cancel it 1 year.
With 1 year notice.
Okay, so we've got, yes.
Commissioner Strand, I think's on there. What's the city's, position? What are they seeking?
John?
Certainly, I will say this, we've worked with the leadership of the airport authority a lot the last several months, and General Haugen and others, maybe we should let you see more of what we're doing in the background, so you're more comforted that it isn't a bureaucratic quagmire without things being addressed. I would say this, we're just really pleased that we've gotten this far, that we've gotten going forward, that we've got an agreement that we can work on. I think that our working relationship is evolving every single month, and it's positive, and it's what the city and community needs. So the city's position is we're entirely on board, and we're committed to the future, as evidenced by our regular meetings with your leadership and our involvement with your authority out there. So no, we're just on board 100% and comforted that we're not still trying to invent our relationship from scratch.
I think one of the things that, correct me if I'm wrong, John, but that came up at the last meeting was Eric Johnson brought up that there are multiple tasks that we have, or I don't know if it's multiple, but there are tasks within the MAA, our agreement, that have not been resolved or have not been completed yet. So, and I think even, maybe I'd be open to having, instead of me just as a chairman, just attending the meetings with the city, I'd be open to having one of the other members of the MAA attend, so they could be more informed. So right now we've got a discussion that there are several things the city would like to continue, and at the last meeting that was discussed, and that a member has brought up that maybe we should extend it 6 months, and maybe then we could get some of the things in the MOU ironed out that we wanted to get done, or that we cancel it, or that we do nothing, and then according to the MOU is we could actually, if we wanted to change something at the calendar year, we could. So there are many options on the floor, but if we don't do anything, it will automatically go to initial term, a 3-year term.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Question for Commissioner Strand. Commissioner Strand, what exactly does the airport get from this relationship, in your understanding?
Well, what the airport gets is a continuation of the relationship that was established decades ago by city leaders who preceded us. And it honors the intention and the spirit of the relationship they established, while it clarifies the status of the employees. It also clarifies the independence of the airport authority. With the PEC, creation of the PEC, it takes the issue of employees completely out of the arena of the city commission, and it gives us a long-term continuation of a positive working relationship into the future.
I think first we need to, I need to make sure that everybody knows we've had a long-term relationship. Sean works with pretty much every department, and so it has been a long-term good relationship. So maybe it's just the relationship with the MAA and the commission that has been a little bit mixed up. So I want to make sure, because Sean and staff here have worked very, 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 very hard, and so the city staff to work together to make sure we solve problems, and so I think that's something that we need to note as well.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
And Commissioner Strand, one important thing that was left out is that the Municipal Airport Authority makes a payment to the city. Is that not correct?
Yes, the Municipal Airport Authority has services provided by the city that the city gets reimbursed for, yes.
Okay. Other questions? Discussion?
I guess I would agree with Eric that we extend it for 6 months in
Okay.
review.
Okay,
Understanding that there is still the 1-year exit, but for another 6 months in review and further refine.
okay.
I will second that from Eric Lynn.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we extend the MOU with the city of Fargo for 6 months, which would make it, let's see, could you figure that out? October, November, December, January, February, March? Would it be March 1st or April 1st?
What's the existing contract? Isn't it July 1st notice?
Yeah.
But we
Well, it's-
extended that 3 months,
Yeah, that's.
so it was September 1st. Oh, so you're saying just extended 6 months?
Well, no, if you're gonna go 6 months further on it, you still have to give them notice by July 1st. So you're only adding
Just do
2
Just do
months.
July. Then I would amend and say go to July 1st, 2021.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, then it,
So that's, he amended that motion. Are you okay with that, Eric? So it's July 1st, 2021?
I think it's.
Affirmative, I second the motion of July 1st.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded. Let's see, it was a friendly amendment, so he approved it, so we'll just vote on the second, on the new,
Yes.
vote. It's been moved and seconded that we extend our MOU relationship with the city of Fargo to July 1st, 2021. Yes,
I'm just looking at the agreement and I'm wondering if we do nothing, the agreement then comes into full force for 3 years, but it still can be canceled on every
1 year.
Every
calendar
anniversary.
So we're,
or is it anniversary or calendar?
well, it's the calendar year, end of the calendar year.
Concurrent.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering why we really need to do 6 months. Because we're still able to cancel it.
I guess, Madam Chair, General, the reason I'm saying that is that it kind of forces us to resolve issues rather than waiting to a year end or a beginning of the next year.
Correct. And one of the things that, just to note, as after the last meeting we had with the city of Fargo, I brought up I didn't bring up specific situations, but I did bring up that there are situations that even some of the members here might not know of inadequate maybe service for our relationship, or some ththings that are impacting employees because we're not getting timely information. And again, this is not, it's something that I brought this up. So we were told that we need to go to the assistant city manager directly with those, because one of the things that came up was John Strand, and Commissioner Strand said, "Well, just tell me." And I said, John, we have not done that because that would be really heavy-handed for us. So what we did was set a path. If there are things like the PERS, this is 11 months to get this done and be PERS. And so that's one of those things that just there are certain services that just keep kind of, we just don't get answers as timely, and everybody is, and so the good thing is that we now have the directive to go to the assistant city manager. And I know that we will be working with Joan and Sean on different services or different things that have not, that could be a little more timely, let's put it that way. So we will do that. Mike, do you have something to say?
Yeah, again, we have found ways of doing things cheaper than the city's plan, faster. The employees were thrilled to death at what we had found, and every time we try and do government the way government should be, cheaper, better, faster, better for employees, we run into a roadblock with HR at the city. That's my whole point here is why shouldn't we be doing things cheaper, better, faster?
Okay, good. Any more? There is a motion on the floor. Any more discussion? Okay. Should we do a voice vote, do you think? Because it's a contract, or doesn't it matter?
You can do a roll call, that's fine.
Roll call vote, I mean. All in favor of the motion to extend the MOU with the city of Fargo to July 1st, 2021? That's the motion on the floor. Moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote.
Haugen,
No.
Engen,
Aye.
Cosgrove,
Aye.
Lind,
Lynn?
Aye.
Lind.
Aye. All right. Motion carried. Airport construction and security update.
Security-wise, Darren, is there anything? The TSA doesn't attend our meetings anymore, but I don't know if anyone from the TSA is online. I don't know that there's really anything to report. There's always periodic inspections going on and so forth with a number of TSA staff from Bismarck, Sioux Falls, and the other areas, so that keeps going on. As far as construction, the car rental lot, I think you saw some pictures yesterday. By and large is completed. Some of the companies are waiting for their signage to be arrive so they can install that on the parking spots. I think Enterprise, Alamo, National, their signage will be here sometime this week. The plan, I believe, is to move the cars out of the short-term lot into the new ready lot this weekend, according to Bernie Ness, who's been kind of one of our primary contacts on that. So it turned out well after some delay by the contractor with underground and paving and other things, but that's pretty well done. Jeff Klein, I see you're on Air Cargo Apron update.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I guess what I can say about the air cargo apron is the contractor's probably, I guess I would estimate 60-70% done with all the underground utility work. They have essentially all the storm sewer, water main, sanitary sewer in, and now they're going to be starting on the Glycol sewer. Industrial builders has all their sheet piling driven and are starting on the floor of the underground concrete glycol storage tank. So I guess what I would say to everyone, the authority members, is I would encourage you to get out there and see the site, because I can, talk about it at these construction meetings, but I think it's good to be out there to see it, just to have an appreciation for the magnitude and complexity of the work that's going on. So.
Great.
I'll add to that Olaf Anderson has the foundation for the building in place, and there are some miscellaneous areas of parking lot that they've paved. So, sorry, it didn't mean to interrupt you, Eric.
No, I was just going to ask, how do I gain, can you give me access to that if I want to come out and look at it this week?
Yeah, I guess I can bring you out there. Otherwise, I'm sure Darren can bring you out there as well. So just contact either one of us.
Copy. Thank you.
Great.
See, Terry, you're on for the snow removal equipment building.
Yeah, good morning. Things are moving along. When you drive out, I'm assuming you'll see they got columns sticking up in the air. They've delivered all of the trusses, so they're sitting in the economy parking lot right now. We're moving along. Jeff's having them doing some additional concrete removal in and around the SRE building. They've got most of the concrete and items demoed for the addition to the existing SRE. You'll see a big bunch of styrofoam sitting there to do the roof on the existing SRE as well. I believe we're going to be getting our new fuel tank Wednesday, or at least based on our meeting last week. Unfortunately, our meetings are at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, so I'm always a week behind. So I actually drove up there this morning to look at some things. So, but yeah, it's moving along.
Yeah, it's looking good. Great.
Our Airfield Markings project was completed. We had an excellent company, Highlight Airfield Services out of New York, came in, and they really knew what they were doing, and I think our staff was impressed. There was a lot of overtime involved because how many nights did they work consecutively? 14, 16 nights. So we had staff that was on with them all night doing that. So, but they did get that done, and hopefully Darren can get up in the air and take some pictures of that while the paint still looks fresh. Just some miscellaneous items for you. Last week, Jeff Klein and I had a call with the Aeronautics Commission and the FAA to review our capital improvement plan, what our thoughts are as far as what we may be moving forward with in 2021. As you're aware, last year at this time we looked at moving forward with the terminal area study, basically a terminal expansion plan. The scope of work for that was completed and submitted to the FAA, and they concurred with that, but because of COVID, terminal studies have basically been put on hold. There are some airports moving forward with their expansion projects, but this one in particular has been put on hold until traffic picks up a little bit more, and we'll keep you up to speed on that. So our focus for 2021 will be to engage Mead and Hunt on the terminal apron reconstruction design. So all of the concrete that is north of the terminal area here from gates 1 to 5, that is original concrete from the 1985 era, and that's past its useful life. So they will be working on a plan to come up with a way to reconstruct that in an orderly fashion, knowing that we're going to take some gates out of service, probably doing some ground boarding and so forth. That'll be like a 3-year project. There'll be certain phases that we'll have to do, and that will be one of the projects that we'll move forward, is to get that designed. We had looked at putting on an expansion of the apron to the east of the terminal in anticipation of an east expansion, so that we would have gates in the new expansion so that we wouldn't impact our access to boarding bridges, but that's not going to be possible as of right now. As part of that, we probably will add on a complete airport environmental study, and the FAA encouraged us to do a complete environmental review of the airport, and the reason for that is when someone comes to us now and wants to build a hangar, the FAA looks for the environmental study for the piece of ground that they're going to build on, a wetland delineation, like a Native American review for artifacts and all of those things. What we want to do is one for the entire airport so that we don't have to do this piecemeal. Because as you're aware, we have hangar owners that will come to us in December, January, February and want to break ground in April, and then we have to tell them that it'll probably be another year to get through the environmental assessment on that. So that will also be part of the scope of that terminal design. The other item that we will probably move forward with is our De-Icing Glycol pump station force main idea. There's a couple of options with that. One would be to put in our own line from the airport property up to the wastewater lagoons north of the airport, or hopefully working with the city, Jim Hausauer and the wastewater plant folks, to allow us to tie into some existing lines that the city has between the wastewater plant and those lagoons. And we can access those lines just north of County Road 20, or I guess they call it 40th Avenue North now, and save us a lot of money in putting in pipe all the way up to the wastewater plant. So we'll work with them on some options with that, but we would like to probably do that. The other item we talked about is replacing our boarding bridge at Gate 4. I would bet any money that is the oldest bridge operating in the United States right now. It's an original Apex fixed base radial bridge. The serial number is, I think, from BC, I'm not sure. I think it's 001. But the thing is it works fine. It goes right, left, up, and down. It works great, but it really limits us in this type of aircraft that we can put on there. So, you're probably looking at a $400,000 or $500,000 thing to replace that boarding bridge. So those will be the things that we'll bring forth for you to focus on, probably for the 2021 construction year, if you will. As you're aware, we'll be finishing the cargo apron next year. The majority, if not all, of the concrete will be placed next year on that. So that's a little bit of the CIP. Last week we also had a meeting with the City of Fargo, the FAA, North Dakota DOT, and then the city's engineers on North University Drive. As you're aware, that project was delayed significantly as they engaged the FAA to figure out how do we improve North University Drive from County 20 down to approximately 32nd Avenue North, building through a runway protection zone, which if it were a new road, the FAA wouldn't allow it in the runway protection zone for our east-west runway. The FAA came down with some options for the city. Ideally, it would be moving the bike path as to the far east extent, if you will, of the runway protection zone. But the city believes, and the FAA said that, well, we can't really stop you from putting it in the right-of-way. Basically 6-7 feet off of the edge of the road. Darren kind of came up with that concept for him a long time ago. But yet, there are some concerns that the FAA does express by still allowing a bike path in a runway protection zone. And I made it very clear, and the minutes of the meeting are very clear, that the airport authority won't do anything that will jeopardize our relationship with the FAA and any funding that we may get in the future. The FAA says that while the airport authority may concur with allowing the bike path within that runway protection zone, we may jeopardize our grant assurances. So while we may concur, the FAA will come back with some information on how the city may proceed with putting the bike path within that right-of-way. But at the same time, we just want assurances from the FAA that by allowing that, we're not going to jeopardize our grant assurance or the requirements that we have with that. So more to come on that, probably in the not too distant future, because they want to put this out for bid, I believe, in February, with the DOT schedule. Let's see, our traffic in July 20 versus July 19, we were down 62.7%. Nationwide, yesterday is still trending down 70% year over year nationwide, so we're doing a little bit better than the national average. September 30th is when the CARES funds run out for the airlines, the payroll protection program that they had. And if Congress doesn't extend that, they're looking at a $25 billion request from the airlines to Congress to extend it through March of 2021. If that doesn't happen, and it doesn't appear at this point that it will, October 1st there'll be 70, 100,000 layoffs immediately within the airline industry, and a number of communities will lose frequency or lose service altogether as they right-size the airline to meet demand around the country. American just announced dropping 15 cities last week in anticipation of this. Plus, regional carriers are still continuing to lose contracts. Southwest yesterday or day before said that they would cut 35,000 routes October 1st, and you can see the number of pilots that will be laid off. So stay tuned on that. How that will impact us, I'm not really sure. Frontier and Allegiant seem to be doing very well here. Delta, we're filling the capacity that Delta is put a 60% load factor limit on, and we're filling those aircraft. So I think we're doing really well, other than other parts of the country. There's also, I've been notified of the Air Condo Association ground lease that we approved in our South GA down by the Air Museum. 2 of the 4 units have been sold or in the process of being sold to Dr. Casey Finnes, F-I-N-E-S. He's my dentist, I should know. But more information will be coming on that. Joel Nichol is one of them, and I just have to confirm if it's Dave Courier or someone else that sold their unit down there, so that'll be coming before us. The airlines, you probably have seen a lot of activity around here with de-icing training, so they're in full speed right now, all the carriers, with training the employees for the de-icing season, which will probably be upon us, unfortunately, next month. And then we're still waiting for one more quote for this 5-ton crane that will go in the snow removal equipment building that was not included in the project. We have 2 quotes, we're waiting for one more. And it's going to be a pretty spendy venture based on the quotes that we have right now. This is kind of the big 5-ton crane that pulls engines in and out of equipment and other things. So that'll be coming your way here fairly soon. Outside of that, I think I covered everything. Darren, is there anything else that we had? Dan, we're good? Jordan? All right.
That was a great update. Thank you very much.
And then Rick, how are we doing on the demo?
Still waiting for state office in Bismarck to give its final approval on the phase 2 study, which was the soil boring samples. We sent them the information on that, and just waiting for them to sign off on it.
Good.
I don't have anything else.
I have 2 things. First, last week, just to kind of let you guys know what the PEC committee, this is a document for the ARC employees, and I think what we did was, basically, we went through, for that one employee I was telling you about, or one position, I should say, went through, I've got 2 pages like that, and looked at qualifications, decisions, problem-solving, relationships, effort A, effort B, hazards, environment, and we had to decide where they were on the scale for that specific job description. And then, like I said, it was kind of like making sausage, if you've heard that described before. And so each one of us did this, and then we tried to come to consensus. So that's for the ARF. And I did want to let you know that I also received the draft for the other study, which is, these are pay ranges. The other study for executive director, principal, assistant executive director, I received that Friday or Thursday. And I went over it this weekend, and my goal was I went back to the past studies, and I'm trying to compare them before I give her a call, Linda a call. It's pretty extensive, and I love numbers, and it even challenges me for numbers. But there are a couple things that I want to ask her questions about, because it's very extensive. One thing, with the previous studies, they had 22 airports that were reported, and this one, they had another additional airport. One of the things that is not considered in either study is the amount of cargo. And so that was kind of a point that I brought up, and they can't include that. So as you know, our cargo has just really ramped up, and that has caused it's caused some changes, just positive changes for us, obviously. So once I've talked to her, I'm going to set up a meeting this week with Linda, and then we'll come to the next airport authority meeting and approve the study. And then hopefully we'll be done with this study, and hopefully we'll come to some resolution whether we have to go through this process for them. So that's it. And then on a final note, we haven't had any high flyer awards. Could you put a note out and just say, hey, we want to continue our high flyer awards, and we haven't had any nominations. I want something positive to happen because there's a lot of employees here that should be recognized. So anyway, anything else to come before the meeting? Okay, hearing none, the meeting stands adjourned.